The key turned easier than I remembered. I whispered to myself, he's going to love this surprise, holding the little cake box in my hand. It was his birthday, and I'd taken off work early. The apartment was quiet except for faint music. Ethan? I called softly. No answer. I pushed the bedroom door open. The world stopped. Maya's laugh hit me first, then the sight. Her hair spilled across my pillow. Ethan's arm was draped over her bare waist. My cake box slid from my hand and hit the floor. Maya's eyes widened. Lena, wait, I couldn't breathe. My throat burned. What is this? Ethan sat up, panic flashing across his face. It's not what it looks like. Then what is it? I snapped, my voice trembling. You're naked in our bed with my best friend. Maya pulled the sheet up, her voice small. Lena, please, it just happened. I laughed bitterly. You don't just happen into someone else's boyfriend. Ethan stood, running a hand through his hair. We were drunk, okay? You've been so distant lately. I didn't mean. I stepped back. Don't you dare blame this on me. He froze. I'm sorry. I messed up. My voice cracked. You destroyed everything. For a moment, no one spoke. The silence was heavier than the air itself. Maya whispered, Lena, I didn't want you to find out like this. I turned to her. You didn't want me to find out at all. That's the truth, isn't it? Tears welled in her eyes. But I didn't care. You were supposed to be my sister, I said. You knew everything about me. Every secret, every fear, and you used it. She looked away. Ethan reached for me. Please, let's talk. Don't leave like this. I jerked back. Talk? What's left to say? You lied, you cheated, and you let her in our bed. Lena, I love you, he said, his voice breaking. Don't, I whispered. Don't say that word. The room felt smaller, suffocating. I grabbed my suitcase from the corner. It was still half packed from my last business trip. My hands shook as I stuffed in whatever I could. Ethan moved closer. You can't just walk away. I can, and I am. Maya spoke again, voice cracking. You'll hate me forever. I already do, I said quietly. Ethan tried again. Lena, please, I'll fix this. I swear. I turned at the door. You can't fix betrayal, Ethan. It stains everything. He looked desperate now. We can start over. No, I gripped the doorknob. You made your choice. And now I'm making mine. I walked out before either of them could speak again. The hallway was cold and silent, and every step felt like walking through glass. I didn't cry, not yet. My body felt numb, like my heart had shut itself off to survive. Outside, the city lights blurred through my tears. I dragged my suitcase down the stairs and whispered, Happy birthday, Ethan. The words tasted like ash. That night, I stayed at a cheap motel. The walls were thin, the bed smelled like dust, and the cake sat untouched on the nightstand. I stared at it until dawn. Somewhere between midnight and morning, the tears finally came. My chest hurt so much I thought I might break, but I didn't. I just lay there, clutching the blanket, whispering over and over, it's over. It's really over. When the sun rose, I had nothing left, no home, no love, no safety, only silence, and the promise that I would never be that weak again. The room was smaller than I expected, bare walls, one window, and a mattress that sank in the middle. I dropped my suitcase and whispered, Well, this is home now. A soft knock came a few minutes later. You must be Lena, a gentle voice said. An older woman stood by the door, gray hair tied in a bun, holding a tray. I'm Mrs. Evans, the landlord. Yes, that's me. I forced a smile. I thought you might be hungry. She handed me a bowl of soup. It's not much, but it's warm. Thank you, I murmured. You didn't have to. She studied me for a moment. You look like someone who hasn't eaten or slept properly in days. I tried to laugh. I guess that's obvious. Mrs. Evans stepped inside, setting the bowl on the small table. Heartbreak? I froze. Something like that. Heartbreak shows in the eyes, she said kindly. I've seen it many times. I sat down, staring at the steam rising from the soup. It's strange. You think love makes you strong, but it only teaches you how easily you can break. Mrs. Evans pulled out a chair. Oh, love can destroy you, dear, but sometimes it rebuilds you too if you let it. Her words stung. Right now, I just feel empty. That's good, she said softly. Good? Emptiness means you're ready to be filled again. Pain means you still care. I looked at her, surprised by how calm she sounded. You sound like someone who knows. She smiled faintly. 42 years of marriage. Lost him last winter. I thought the silence would kill me. But I'm still here, still cooking soup. I didn't know what to say. She reached across the table, patting my hand. You'll be fine, Lena. You're young. You still have fire in you. Fire feels more like ashes right now. Then start from ashes, she said. That's how phoenixes are born. I laughed quietly. You really believe that? I've lived long enough to see people rise from worse. She stood, collecting the empty bowl. And I believe you will too. After she left, I sat for a long time, listening to the ticking clock. My phone buzzed another job rejection email. I stared at it, numb. Thank you for your interest, it said. Always the same. I tossed the phone aside and whispered, maybe I'm not meant to start over. From outside the door came her voice, faint but clear. Stop doubting yourself, dear. Tomorrow's another day. I didn't even realize I'd said it out loud. You hear everything, don't you? Her laughter echoed down the hallway. Old ears, sharp as ever. That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. The betrayal still burned, but Mrs. Evans's words lingered. Start from ashes. Somehow, it didn't sound impossible anymore. Maybe pain wasn't just punishment. Maybe it was preparation. The rejection emails became a routine, same subject line, same polite refusal. I almost stopped checking until one message caught my eye. Interview invitation, Aurora Enterprises. I read it 3 times just to be sure. Finally, I whispered, my voice shaking. Mrs. Evans knocked on my door. Good news? I got an interview, I said, holding up my phone. She smiled. See, I told you. Ashes don't stay cold forever. I laughed weakly. Let's hope I don't burn out before it starts. 2 days later, I walked into Aurora's glass tower, heart pounding. The receptionist led me to a sleek office where a man in a dark suit sat behind a massive desk. He didn't look up when I entered. Lena Moore? He asked. His voice was calm but sharp. Yes, sir. Sit. I sat. He scanned my resume for a few seconds. Marketing background. 2 years at Ellis & Gray. Yes. Then a 6-month gap. His eyes lifted. Why? My chest tightened. Personal reasons. He leaned back. Personal or emotional? I hesitated. Both. He studied me in silence. I felt stripped bare under his gaze. Tell me something, he said finally. Why should I hire someone who's been broken? The words hit like a slap. Because broken doesn't mean useless, I said quietly. His brow arched. Go on. I made mistakes. I trusted the wrong people. But that taught me how to read people better, how to work harder, and how to survive when everything falls apart. He folded his arms. You think survival equals success? No, I said, meeting his eyes. But it's the foundation for it. A faint smile tugged at his lips. Interesting answer. I wasn't trying to be interesting, I replied. Just honest. He stood and walked to the window. Most people who sit in that chair sell me perfection. You didn't. I don't have perfection left to sell. He turned back to me. Good. I have enough people pretending to be perfect. What I need is someone who doesn't quit. My pulse quickened. Are you saying I got the job? He walked closer, stopping a few feet away. Yes. Effective immediately. I blinked. That's it? No second interview? I don't need one. His tone was firm. You've lost everything. That means you have nothing to fear. People like that are dangerous. I frowned. Dangerous? In the best way. I tried to process it all. Thank you, Mr. Cole. Adrian, he corrected. Welcome to Aurora. Lena. When I stepped out of his office, my hands were trembling. I didn't know if it was excitement or fear. Maybe both. In the elevator, I whispered his words to myself. You've lost everything, and that's exactly why you'll win. I didn't understand what he meant then, but something inside me stirred, something that had been buried beneath all the pain. Maybe this wasn't just a job. Maybe it was the start of my rebirth. My first month at Aurora nearly broke me. Deadlines hit like storms, and I was always one step behind. Lena, Adrian said one evening, standing over my desk. Why are these reports incomplete? I swallowed hard. Because the data team hasn't sent. He cut me off. Excuses don't build results. Solutions do. I'll fix it, I said quickly. I know you will, he replied before walking away. His confidence scared me more than his criticism. I worked late every night. The office emptied, lights dimmed, but I stayed. When exhaustion made my eyes blur, I whispered to myself, you can't fail again. One night, Clara, a cheerful analyst, appeared beside me. You're still here. It's almost midnight. I'm trying to finish the pitch deck, I said, rubbing my temples. She peeked at my screen. You've redone that slide 5 times. Go home. I can't. Adrian expects perfection. She laughed softly. He expects results, not martyrs. I sighed. He sees everything. One mistake, and he'll fire me. Clara leaned against my desk. He doesn't hire people to fire them. He pushes them to see if they'll break. Feels like I already have. I muttered. She smiled. Then surprise him. Don't break. The next morning, Adrian called me into his office. His tone was unreadable. Sit. I did, clutching my laptop. Your proposal for the Delta project half-baked, he said flatly. My heart dropped. I can redo it. He nodded. Good. You'll have 12 hours. 12? Yes. If you can't work under pressure, you don't belong here. Something inside me snapped, not in anger, but in resolve. Then I'll finish it. He looked amused. We'll see. I spent the next 12 hours buried in spreadsheets, charts, and caffeine. By the end, I was shaking from exhaustion. When I finally hit send, I stared at the clock. 11:59 p.m. The next morning, Adrian called me again. You did it, he said simply. I said I would. He studied me for a moment. You're stubborn. I've been called worse. A small smile appeared. Keep that stubbornness. It'll take you far. I left his office, dizzy but proud. Clara met me in the hallway. You look like you wrestled a dragon. Maybe I did, I said, laughing for the first time in weeks. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, the panic faded. My reports improved. My ideas started getting noticed. I stopped being scared of Adrian's sharp tone. One evening, he stopped by my desk again. You've changed, he said, hopefully for the better. He nodded. You stopped apologizing. That's a good sign. I learned it from you, I said quietly. He paused, almost smiling. Don't learn from me. Learn for yourself. As he walked away, I realized he wasn't being cruel. He was testing me, pushing me to fight for my place. For the first time, I didn't feel like the girl who'd been betrayed. I felt like someone reborn. Every late night, every harsh word, every success, it all became armor. I wasn't surviving anymore. I was fighting back. I stopped at the cafe across from the office, hoping caffeine could save me from another sleepless night. The bell above the door jingled and my stomach dropped. Maya. She looked exactly the same. Perfect hair, designer bag, that same fake warmth. When her eyes met mine, her lips curved into a surprised smile. Lena? I froze halfway to the counter. Maya. She stood, smoothing her dress. Wow, it's been what? 2 years. Something like that. You look different, she said, tilting her head. More serious. Successful, maybe? I nodded. Working on it. Of course you are. She gestured to the seat across from her. Sit, please. I hesitated, then sat, mostly because I wanted to see what kind of lie she'd tell this time. So, she began, stirring her coffee. I heard you work at Aurora. That's impressive. Adrian Cole's company, right? The guy's a genius. I shrugged. He's my boss. Her smile tightened. Always knew you'd find a way to land on your feet. Did you? I asked, keeping my tone light. She laughed softly. Don't be like that, Lena. I've missed you. Missed me? I raised an eyebrow. That's new. She looked down, pretending to sigh. Ethan left me. I almost smiled. Did he? Yeah, she whispered. Said I wasn't what he needed anymore. Imagine that. Imagine, I echoed, sipping my coffee. Her eyes flicked up, searching mine. I thought maybe we could start over. As friends. I laughed before I could stop myself. Friends? You slept with my boyfriend in my bed, Maya? She winced. I was stupid, okay? We both were. Don't speak for me, I said quietly. And don't rewrite history to make it sound small. Her voice sharpened. You think you're better than me now? I smiled. No, just smarter. She leaned back, crossing her arms. Don't get cocky. You'll never make it without him. You never could. That hit harder than I wanted it to. But instead of breaking, I laughed again, louder this time. Funny, because I already did. Her face fell. I stood, setting my empty cup down. Good luck, Maya. You'll need it. As I walked out, the sunlight hit my face. For the first time in years, I didn't feel small or broken. I felt powerful. Still, her words echoed in my mind all day. You'll never make it without him. That night, as I stared at my reflection in the window, I whispered, watch me. And for the first time, I meant it. The office erupted in applause when Adrian announced it, effective immediately. He said, looking straight at me, Lena Moore will serve as head of marketing. For a second, I couldn't move. Clara nudged me. Stand up, you idiot. I stood, my throat dry. Thank you, sir. Adrian's eyes held mine for a moment. You earned it. When he walked out, Clara grinned. Head of marketing. Lena, that's insane. I laughed shakily. Insane is one word for it. You pulled off that Zenith deal. Everyone thought it was impossible. Everyone including me, I admitted. She threw her arm around my shoulder. You're a machine, more. Drinks tonight? Only if you're buying. We laughed, but deep down, something strange stirred relief mixed with disbelief. I'd fought so hard to prove I could rise again. And now, I had .by the next morning. My face was everywhere: magazine interviews, business blogs, press releases. The new face of Aurora. When Clara dropped a copy of Business Insider on my desk, she said, "You look terrifyingly powerful here." I smirked. I practiced that look in the mirror. She sat on the edge of my desk. You're officially famous. Proud? More like confused. She frowned. Why confused? Because success feels quieter than I thought it would. Before she could answer, a voice whispered from behind us. Quiet or not, people are talking. I turned. Liam, one of the senior execs, leaned against the doorframe, smirking. Big promotion, huh? Guess it pays to have the boss's attention. Clara glared. Watch your mouth, Liam. He shrugged. Just saying what everyone's thinking. I looked him in the eye. Then tell everyone they're wrong. He chuckled. Sure thing, head of marketing. When he left, Clara muttered, that snake. It's fine, I said, though my stomach twisted. It's not fine, she snapped. You earned this. Don't let idiots taint it. I won't, I said quietly. They can talk. I'll just keep winning. That became my mantra. But as days passed, the whispers spread. Every time I walked into a meeting, someone looked away too quickly. Every smile felt rehearsed. One night, Clara stormed into my office. They're saying you slept your way up. Do you hear me? They're saying it out loud. I looked up from my screen. Let them. Lena, she cried. Say something. No, I said firmly. If I fight it, they'll think it's true. If I ignore it, they'll choke on their own lies. She exhaled slowly. You've changed. I had to. The next day, Adrian passed me in the hallway. Ignore the noise, he said under his breath. I already am. He smiled faintly. Good, then you're learning. And I was learning that power wasn't about being liked, it was about staying steady while the world tried to shake you. That was the day I stopped apologizing for surviving. The gala was brighter than I expected. Crystal chandeliers, champagne laughter, and people pretending to like each other. Adrian stood beside me, calm and unreadable as always. You nervous? He asked, adjusting his cufflinks. I smiled faintly. Only when people stare too long. They're not staring at you, he said. They're admiring success. I can't tell the difference, I murmured. He glanced at me. You will. We entered the main hall, and flashes went off. Reporters, investors, executives' faces I'd only seen on screens. Adrian shook hands effortlessly, while I tried to match his composure. You belong here, he said quietly. I'm still convincing myself of that. Then let me help. His hand brushed the small of my back. Steady and firm. I turned and froze. Across the room, Ethan stood by the bar, drink in hand. Maya clung to his arm like a desperate accessory. He looked right at me. The glass nearly slipped from my fingers. Of all places, I whispered. Adrian followed my gaze. Someone you know? Someone I buried, I said. He didn't ask more. Do you want to leave? No, I said quickly. Not tonight. Maya noticed me first. Her smile twitched. Ethan's face paled like he'd seen a ghost. I felt a rush of satisfaction I hadn't expected. They started toward us. Adrian leaned closer. You don't owe anyone words. I know, I said, straightening my shoulders. Lena? Ethan's voice cracked slightly. Is that really you? I smiled politely. Hello, Ethan. Maya. Maya's eyes darted to Adrian. You look different. I'd hope so, I replied. Ethan laughed nervously. I can't believe it. You here? With him? Adrian's tone was calm but cutting. Problem with that? Ethan swallowed. No, of course not. Just surprising. I met Ethan's eyes and said, excuse me, Mr. Cole is waiting for me. I turned before either could respond. Adrian's hand guided me through the crowd. You handled that well, he said once we were out of earshot. I almost didn't, but you did, he said. That's what matters. I exhaled slowly. That felt better than any revenge I ever imagined. He smiled faintly. Power isn't about revenge, Lena. It's about knowing you don't need it. I looked back once, Ethan still staring, Maya whispering furiously. For the first time, I didn't feel broken or small. I felt untouchable. The first rumor came from Clara. She slid into my office, eyes wide. You're not going to believe this, she said. I looked up from my laptop. Try me. Ethan's company. They're tanking. Stocks crashed this morning. I blinked. Already? Apparently one of his investors pulled out and took half his board with him. I leaned back in my chair, feeling something between shock and satisfaction. Karma doesn't waste time. Claire grinned. You're enjoying this a little too much. Maybe, I said. But after everything he took from me, I think I've earned it. She laughed. Fair point. By noon, the news was everywhere. Articles, headlines, financial blogs. Reynard Solutions facing collapse. Ethan's confident smile stared out from every photo, now paired with the word failure. That night, my phone rang. Unknown number. I knew before I answered. Lena. His voice came, rough and tired. I said nothing. Please, don't hang up. I didn't. I just listened. I don't know who else to call, he said. Everything's falling apart. Investors, clients, even Maya. The name stung less than I expected. She left? He gave a bitter laugh. For one of my own investors. Guess she found a richer replacement. I almost pitied him. Almost. What do you want from me, Ethan? He hesitated. I miss you. The words were soft, trembling, familiar. I miss what we had. You believed in me. You made me better. I exhaled slowly. You made me worse. Lena, I was stupid. I thought I needed more. But it was you. All along. Don't do that, I said. Don't rewrite it now that you're losing. I'm not asking for pity, he said. Just a chance to make things right. You had your chance, I replied. And you destroyed it. Silence. Then, you've changed. I had to, I said quietly. You made sure of that. Are you happy? He asked. I paused. Yes. He let out a shaky breath. Then I guess that's something. I ended the call without saying goodbye. Clara knocked a few minutes later. Everything okay? Just ghosts, I said. She leaned against the doorframe. You didn't answer. Did you? I did. Once. And he wanted sympathy. I gave him silence. She smiled faintly. That's colder than revenge. It's cleaner, I said. Let karma do the dirty work. When she left, I stared out my window. The city lights shimmered like 1,000 tiny endings. Somewhere out there, Ethan was watching everything he built crumble alone, desperate, afraid, and for the first time, I didn't feel like the one left behind. I wasn't heartless. I just wasn't his victim anymore. The rain had just started when Adrian called me into his office. His voice was calm as always. Close the door, Lena. Something in his tone made my pulse quicken. Did I mess up? No. He looked up from his desk. You've done everything right. I frowned. Then why do I feel like I'm in trouble? He stood, walking closer. Because you don't know what to do when someone means what they say. I blinked. What does that mean? He exhaled slowly. It means I like you, Lena. The air left my lungs. You like me? I do. His eyes didn't waver. You're strong, honest, unafraid to fight. I haven't admired someone in a long time. I took a step back. Adrian, you're my boss. I know. This isn't. I stopped, searching for words. You don't have to say that. I didn't say it because I have to, he said softly. I said it because it's true. I turned toward the window, watching raindrops race down the glass. You don't understand. I've been here before. It starts with words that sound real, and then everything falls apart. He walked closer but didn't touch me. I'm not Ethan. I know, I whispered. That's what scares me. He was silent for a moment. You think I'll hurt you? I think I can't survive being hurt again. He nodded slowly. Then I'll wait. I turned, confused. Wait? Yes. His tone was steady, like a promise. I won't push. I won't ask. I'll wait until you're ready. I wanted to laugh, to tell him waiting was pointless, but his eyes stopped me. There was no manipulation, no pity, just patience. Why? I asked quietly. Because love doesn't demand. It chooses. My throat tightened. You shouldn't say things like that. Then stop making me want to, he said, half smiling. Adrian, I hesitated. You deserve someone whole. He met my eyes. You think you're broken. You're not. You're rebuilding. The rain outside softened into a whisper. For a moment, the silence between us felt heavier than words. I can't give you what you want, I said finally. He nodded. I didn't ask for anything. I just needed you to know. I took a deep breath. Then you should also know I'm grateful. You've done more for me than you realize. He smiled faintly. Good, then we understand each other. I left his office with my heart pounding harder than it had in years. Ethan's betrayal had destroyed me once. But Adrian's quiet patience, it broke me differently. It didn't shatter me. It rebuilt me. The receptionist's voice buzzed through the intercom. Miss Moore, there's someone here asking to see you. He says it's urgent. I barely looked up from my computer. Name? She hesitated. Ethan. For a moment, I thought I'd misheard. Send him in. The door opened slowly. He stepped inside, thinner, unshaven, eyes hollow. His suit looked worn, like it had survived too many sleepless nights. Lena, he said quietly, you look incredible. I folded my hands. What do you want? He winced at my tone. I just needed to see you. Why? Because I have nothing left. His voice cracked. The company's gone. The house, the cars, everything. Maya too. She left the moment the money did. I leaned back in my chair. Karma's efficient these days. He tried to laugh, but it came out broken. I deserve that, yes, I said simply. He looked around the office, my name engraved on the glass wall, the skyline behind me, the life I built from his ashes. You did well for yourself. I had to, I said. No one was going to save me. He nodded slowly. I thought I was building something great. Turns out, I was just destroying everything that mattered. Sounds like clarity came a few years late. He stepped closer. Lena, please. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I can't stop thinking about what we had. You were the only person who ever really believed in me. My throat tightened, but I didn't let it show. And you were the one who made me stop believing in anyone. His eyes filled with tears. I made a mistake. A terrible one. If I could go back, you can't, I interrupted. And even if you could, I wouldn't be there waiting. He looked desperate now. Just tell me there's still something left between us. I stood, smoothing my jacket. There is. It's called memory. But it's not love. He swallowed hard. You've changed. Yes, I said softly. You left me when I was nothing. Now I own everything you ever wanted. He went silent, completely still, for the first time. I saw it, the weight of regret crushing him. I turned toward the door. Goodbye, Ethan, he whispered. You really don't hate me? No, I said. You're not worth that kind of emotion anymore. He didn't answer. That was the last time I saw him. After Ethan's visit, the silence in my office felt heavier. I thought victory would taste sweeter, but it didn't. It just ended. Clara noticed. You've been quiet all week, she said over lunch. I'm fine, I lied. She raised a brow. That's the same tone I used before crying in the bathroom. I smiled faintly. He came here, Clara. Her fork froze midair. Ethan? I nodded, begging, regretting, saying he missed me. She frowned. You didn't know? I didn't forgive him. I didn't yell either. I just let him talk. And I felt nothing. Clara exhaled. That's peace, Lena. Don't confuse it with emptiness. Feels the same, I murmured. She reached over, squeezing my hand. Then maybe peace starts that way, quiet, not loud. That night, I found myself walking to Mrs. Evans's building. She opened the door before I even knocked. I knew you'd come, she said, smiling softly. I followed her into the small kitchen that always smelled like tea and cinnamon. You look tired, dear, she said. Heart still heavy? Not heavy, I said. Just hollow. She poured tea into 2 chipped cups. You saw him again, didn't you? I nodded. He's lost everything. And I didn't even feel sorry. Mrs. Evans stirred her tea slowly. Forgiveness isn't about pity. It's about freedom. I don't think I can forgive him. You don't have to yet, she said. But one day, you'll realize holding on to pain is like carrying someone else's debt. I looked down at my cup. I carried it long enough, then put it down, she said simply. When I got home, I opened the drawer where the last photo of Ethan still hid. A smiling, young, foolish. I stared at it for a long time before whispering, you don't own me anymore. I struck a match. The paper curled, flames, swallowing the past 1 inch at a time. The smell of smoke filled the room, but it didn't choke me this time. When the fire went out, I felt light, empty, yes, but free. That night, for the first time in years, I slept without dreaming of him. The morning light cut across my room, soft and golden. I stood in front of the mirror, toothbrush in hand, and stopped mid-motion. For the first time in years, I didn't see the broken girl who begged to be loved. I saw someone else, someone who'd built herself from the ground up. I whispered, "You made it." A knock interrupted the moment. "You talking to yourself again?" Adrian's voice came from the hallway. I laughed. "Maybe. It's cheaper than therapy." He stepped into the doorway, coffee in hand. "You've been up early every day this week, trying to outrun me to the office? Trying to prove I can," I teased. He smirked. "You don't have to prove anything anymore, Lena. Old habits die hard." I took the cup from him, our fingers brushing briefly. "Thank you. You seem lighter," he said. "I burned some ghosts." He nodded, understanding without needing details. "Good. Ghosts don't belong in the living world." I smiled. "You sound like Mrs. Evans." "She's wise," he said. "I should meet her. She'd probably tell you to eat more vegetables." He chuckled. "Noted." For a moment, silence filled the space, comfortable, not heavy. I set my cup down. "Do you ever wonder how we ended up here?" "Every day," he said. "You fought your way out of the ashes. I just watched you rise." "That's not true. You pushed me when I wanted to give up." He tilted his head. "And now, I said slowly, I don't need pushing. Just direction." He smiled. "Then maybe we walk beside each other instead." I looked at him, really looked. Not as the man who once intimidated me, but as someone who'd seen me rebuild piece by piece. "You really see me, don't you?" I asked quietly. "I do," he said. "Not as someone surviving, but as someone living." The words sank deep. I turned back to the mirror. The woman staring back wasn't defined by pain anymore. She looked calm, capable, alive. I met her eyes and whispered, "I'm proud of you." Adrian's reflection smiled behind mine. "You should be." And for the first time, I truly was. The lobby of Aurora's new headquarters gleamed like glass and ambition. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted my name. "Miss Moore, over here." "Smile." I did. Just enough to look human, not hollow. Clara whispered beside me, "You look like you own the world." I smirked. "Maybe just a piece of it." Adrian joined us, his tie slightly undone, his calm unshakable. "Ready for the speech?" "I've been ready for years," I said. He nodded. "Then let's make it count." As I stepped onto the stage, applause filled the air. The lights were blinding, but I wasn't afraid anymore. A reporter called out, "Lena, what inspired your journey to the top?" I smiled at the sea of cameras. "Sometimes losing everything is the best thing that can happen to you," the crowd murmured. Flashbulbs popped. Adrian's faint smile told me I'd said exactly what I needed to. Another voice shouted, "Do you have any regrets?" I paused. "Only that I didn't believe in myself sooner." The room went quiet for a heartbeat. Then applause broke again. As I stepped off stage, Clara whispered, "That was perfect." I meant every word. I said softly. We moved through the crowd, shaking hands and posing for photos. That's when I saw him, Ethan. He stood near the back, half hidden behind reporters. Older now, thinner. His eyes met mine, and the years between us vanished. Clara followed my gaze. "Is that yes? Do you want me to know?" I took a breath. "Let him stay." He started toward me, then stopped, realizing he didn't belong in this world anymore. I watched him, calm, detached. Adrian appeared beside me. "Everything okay?" "Yes," I said. "Just a ghost from the past." "Do ghosts still scare you?" He asked quietly. "Not anymore." Ethan's expression said everything: regret, disbelief, maybe even admiration. I didn't look away. I didn't smile either. I just let him see what I'd become. Adrian leaned closer. "You've come a long way, Lena." "I know," I said, eyes still on Ethan. "And I didn't have to destroy anyone to get here." He nodded. "That's real power." When I finally turned away, I felt lighter than ever. The applause still echoed through the hall. But it wasn't the sound of victory, it was the sound of closure. That day, I didn't need revenge. I already had everything he ever wanted: peace, purpose, and freedom.